YouTube gets you to watch it right now. The video you're on. That's roughly the second most visited website on the entire planet, worth hundreds of billions of dollars. And it started as a failed dating site, one that got 0 uploads for an entire week. One whose founders were so desperate they paid women on the internet $20 each just to post a video. And still nobody came. That company was weeks from bankruptcy. Its videos were bleeding money out of one founder's personal credit card every single month. Every investor they pitched said the same thing. Great idea, terrible business, no way to make money. And then, in the span of about 18 months, it became one of the most valuable websites in human history. This is the story of how that happened. But it's also something bigger. It's the story of how the internet learned to pay ordinary people to talk to a camera, and how that one idea created a golden age then nearly tore itself apart in a chain of scandals so dark that YouTube's own advertisers ran for the exits, twice. So stick around because the near-death moments in this story aren't the ones you'd expect. And the thing that saved YouTube at the very beginning is a tiny button you've clicked 1,000 times without thinking. Let's start where nobody would guess, inside PayPal. It's the early 2000s and 3 PayPal employees, Steve Chen, Chad Hurley, and Jawed Karim, keep meeting for lunch at a coffee shop outside the office, dreaming about building their own internet company and getting rich. Then, PayPal gets bought by eBay, the work turns boring, and the 3 of them scatter. But they stay in touch, and by 2005 they're obsessed with a website called Hot or Not, where people uploaded photos of themselves for strangers to rate. And they had a thought, what if you did that, but with video? People could rate each other, connect, maybe fall in love. They even had a name. You, because you're showing yourself off. Tube, a nod to the old tube television set. YouTube, a video dating site. They registered the domain on Valentine's Day 2005, and their very first slogan was, "No joke, tune in, hook up." On April 23rd, 2005, YouTube went live, and Jawed uploaded the first video ever. 19 seconds of him standing in front of the elephants at the San Diego Zoo, mumbling about how cool their trunks are, historic, and also a preview of the problem because the dating site was a ghost town. That's when they tried paying strangers $20 a video. Still nothing. Months of work, and it felt like it had all been for nothing. But here's the thing they hadn't noticed. People were using YouTube, just not for dating. Every day, videos trickled in. Snowboarding wipeouts, cat clips, backflips, random home videos people had sitting on their memory cards with nowhere to put them. The founders had accidentally built something people actually wanted, a place to store and share any video at all. So they made a decision that changed everything. They killed the dating angle and just let people upload whatever they wanted. Now here's a question worth stopping on. Video sharing websites were not a new idea. The first one launched back in 1997, and dozens tried after that. Every single one failed. So why YouTube? The honest answer isn't genius, it's timing, and one clever technical choice. Video files back then were a nightmare. Enormous, expensive to host, and every camera spat out a different format that only some devices could play. On top of that, internet speeds were so slow that even a short clip could take forever to download. So earlier sites either charged you, limited you, or made you wait ages. YouTube's founders made one smart bet. They built on a free browser plugin called Flash. Flash converted basically any video into a single format, compressed it so it loaded fast, and, crucially, streamed it in small chunks so you didn't have to download anything at all. You just clicked a link, and it played. Instantly. For free. That just send a link part is what quietly lit the fuse. Because in 2005, the biggest social network on Earth was MySpace. So when someone found a funny YouTube clip, they'd paste the link on MySpace, where it got reshared over and over. Early viral videos exploded. Millions of views. And it became a snowball. Viral videos brought visitors. Visitors uploaded more videos. More videos meant more viral hits. Round and round. From the outside, it looked like a rocket ship. Inside the company, it was pure panic. Because every one of those videos had to be stored somewhere, and storage costs money. When they started, Steve had signed up with a hosting company offering unlimited bandwidth for $129 a month. A steal. But when uploads suddenly went vertical, the hosting company basically said, yeah, unlimited is off the table. You're going to pay for what you actually use. And so every month, thousands of dollars started hitting Steve's personal credit card. Meanwhile, YouTube still had no business model. None. They didn't even have a plan for one. So all the excitement of watching those user numbers climb curdled into dread, because every new user was setting Steve's money on fire. They went looking for investors, and they got rejected over and over. Everyone loved the concept, and no one believed it could make money. Video hosting was just too expensive. Close to 1 million people a day were now watching YouTube, and it was quietly killing the men who built it. If they didn't find money soon, Steve would go bankrupt, and YouTube would die. And then, this is real, Jawed went to a barbecue. He got chatting with an old PayPal coworker who'd just gotten married and was complaining that he couldn't figure out how to share his honeymoon videos with his family. Jawed naturally said, "Let me show you this thing." That coworker happened to now work at Sequoia Capital, one of the biggest venture firms in Silicon Valley. He was so impressed he connected them to his partners. And in November 2005, Sequoia invested $3.5 million. The founders exhaled. They hired people, crammed them into a tiny office above a pizzeria, an office literally infested with rats. But they had a future now. And that relief lasted about 5 minutes because their single biggest source of traffic was about to declare war on them. Hold that thought. First, the button. Because scattered among all the people storing videos were a few strange individuals who were doing something new, making videos for YouTube on purpose again and again. To help them, the founders added a small feature, a button that let you follow someone so you'd see their next upload. The subscribe button, it sounds trivial. It was the most important thing they ever built, because subscribe quietly transformed YouTube from a place where you dumped clips into a place where you followed people. It gave creators a reason to come back and post consistently, and it gave viewers a reason to return every single day. Growth started doubling weekly before the site had even officially launched. By mid-December 2005, 8 million people a day. They launched officially on December 15th, 2005. And that's exactly when MySpace attacked. See, all those viral hits meant people were leaving MySpace to watch YouTube, and MySpace was not having it. They started deleting posts with YouTube links, censoring the name, and launched their own copycat, MySpace Videos. Overnight, YouTube's biggest traffic source vanished, and they weren't alone. Google, Yahoo, and Facebook all wanted the video market too, and all of them had vastly more money. But here's why it didn't matter, and it's the heart of this whole story. That little subscribe button had already changed what YouTube was. It was no longer a video repository that lived or died on MySpace links. It had become a place where anyone, a musician, a filmmaker, two friends doing comedy, could build an actual community of people who cared about what they made. So when MySpace shadow banned them, YouTube barely flinched. By January 2006, daily views had tripled to 25 million. A new kind of famous person was being born. Not a distant Hollywood celebrity, but someone relatable, human, reachable. The YouTuber. And yet, right as it was winning, YouTube was sitting on a time bomb. Because anyone can upload anything for free has a dark flip side. First, the horror. A small team had to manually watch every reported video, and they were exposed to such disturbing content that some of them started having nightmares. Then, the lawsuits. People were uploading copyrighted music, movies, and TV shows by the ton, racking up huge views. All 3 major record labels sued. Then, Viacom, one of the largest media companies on the planet, threatened a massive lawsuit over its clips being watched millions of times. Newsweek literally called YouTube the video version of Napster, and wondered aloud if it would get sued into oblivion. So, picture the summer of 2006. YouTube is one of the fastest growing websites in the history of the internet. And it has no real revenue. It's a magnet for piracy, and it's being sued by the biggest media companies alive. Plenty of serious business people looked at it and concluded it was, essentially, worthless. And then the founders posted a video that stunned everyone. Just 18 months after launch, Google bought YouTube for $1.65 billion. Why? Because Google had tried its own version, Google Video, and captured only about 10% of the market, while YouTube had over half. Classic, if you can't beat them, buy them. But buying YouTube didn't make the lawsuits go away. If anything, the copyright holders smelled Google's deep pockets and pressed harder. Viacom came back demanding $1 billion. So the obvious question is, how on earth Google was going to turn this disaster into a business? They solved it in 2 moves, and both are the reason YouTube exists as you know it today. Move 1. The copyright nightmare. Google built a system called Content ID. Copyright holders upload their movies, songs, and shows into a giant database, and YouTube automatically scans every upload for matches. When it finds one, the owner can choose to block it, or to leave it up and take the ad money from it. In one stroke, the thing that was going to sink YouTube became a revenue stream for the very companies suing them. Genius. Move 2. And this is the one that changed the world. Advertising was always Google's superpower, so ads rolled out across YouTube. But then, in 2007, YouTube did something historic. The Partner Program. For the first time, creators got a cut of the ad money on their videos, the creator keeping the larger share, YouTube taking the rest. Think about what that actually did. But people had been thrilled just to host their videos for free. Now they could get paid for their hobby, and this quietly demolished every gatekeeper that had ever existed. You want to make a film? You no longer need a producer's permission. Release a song? You don't need a record label? Give a lecture to the world? You don't need a university. Anyone, anywhere with an idea and a camera, could now broadcast themselves and earn a living doing it. That is the moment the creator economy was born. Thousands of new creators flooded in, inventing entire formats that never existed before. Video essays, vlogs, tutorials, reviews, pranks, unboxings, let's plays. Because YouTube could go far more niche than television ever could, there was suddenly something for absolutely everyone, and it minted stars, including a kid whose mother uploaded a video of him singing, who got discovered and became one of the biggest musicians on earth. But money changes things. The instant people realized views equal dollars, YouTube flooded with clickbait, lying titles, misleading thumbnails, anything for the click. So YouTube changed its algorithm. Instead of rewarding raw views, it started rewarding watch time, on the logic that if you watched something for a long time, you probably actually liked it. It also conveniently kept people on YouTube longer, watching more ads, and it accidentally gave birth to longer content, reactions, documentaries, gaming series, right as Minecraft was exploding. By 2010, the world watched over 2 billion YouTube videos a day. And by then, all 3 original founders had moved on. YouTube was Google's now. For a while, it was a genuine golden age. By 2014, 1 billion users. Daily vloggers, video podcasts, kids' channels, news, education. Becoming a YouTuber went from weird thing your cousin does to one of the most desired jobs on the planet. A new CEO, Susan Wojcicki, came in with one mission: turn YouTube into a world-class advertising machine. And it worked so well it created a beautiful loop. Better ad platform brings more advertisers, more money for YouTube and creators, who reinvest in better videos, which draws more advertisers. By 2016, YouTube ads pulled in $6.7 billion. And that success is exactly what set off the disaster. Here's the problem. Big brands, Apple, Nike, Coca-Cola, are extremely careful about what their name appears next to. But on YouTube, anyone can upload anything, including bullying, conspiracy theories, violence, and extremism. And in early 2017, journalists and advertisers made a horrifying discovery. Major companies' ads were playing right in front of videos made by extremists, including terrorist content. The story went viral, and thousands of the biggest advertisers on Earth yanked their money from YouTube all at once. They called it the adpocalypse. And YouTube was fundamentally an ad business, so this was a knife to the heart. But the real problem was scale. By then, around 400 hours of video were uploaded every single minute. No human team could ever check it all. So YouTube unleashed its algorithms to sweep the entire platform and flag anything advertisers might dislike. And millions of videos were demonetized, age-restricted, or deleted. And here's where YouTube made a genuinely cruel mistake. They didn't tell creators. The algorithm swept up countless videos that broke no rules at all, and thousands of honest creators watched their income simply vanish overnight, with no warning and no explanation. Remember, many of these people relied on that money to pay their teams, their rent, to feed their families. Some were forced to quit entirely. The machine that had freed them from every gatekeeper had just become a gatekeeper of its own, one with no face and no appeals process. And it kept getting darker. YouTube's biggest star at the time posted content widely condemned as anti-Semitic, and it didn't help that a neo-Nazi website declared itself his #1 fan page, teaching YouTube that bad press about its biggest creators became bad press about YouTube. Then, on the last day of 2017, a hugely popular vlogger filmed himself discovering a dead body in a Japanese forest, and YouTube's own algorithm pushed it onto the trending page, effectively promoting it to a young, impressionable audience. The backlash was volcanic. Then came the scandals involving children, which are genuinely disturbing, so I'll keep this brief. YouTube had built a kids app meant to be safe, but its algorithms, seeing only familiar cartoon characters, pulled in a flood of grotesque, violent knockoff videos using those characters, and served them to small children. That became known as Elsagate, and it triggered another advertiser exodus. And, in a separate, even worse discovery, predators were found lurking in the comments of ordinary videos posted by kids using timestamps to flag content among themselves. When YouTube finally uncovered the network, it went into full crisis mode and simply shut off comments on virtually all videos featuring children, which hurt many innocent family channels as collateral damage. By 2018, resentment toward YouTube, from creators demonetized without warning, from political channels who felt censored, from viewers who felt the site was losing its soul, to late-night TV clips, had reached a boiling point. And the community found the perfect place to dump it. YouTube Rewind 2018, the company's annual look-back video. It leaned on old media celebrities over actual YouTubers, glossed over the year's real moments, and felt corporate and hollow. So the community turned it into the single most disliked video in the history of the website. But under all the drama sits one problem YouTube can never fully solve, and it's worth understanding because it explains almost everything. Internally, YouTube describes itself as a three-legged stool: viewers, creators, and advertisers. All three legs have to stay equal, or the whole thing tips over. But those three groups want contradictory things. Show ads only on squeaky clean videos, and advertisers cheer while creators lose income. Remove the dislike count, and advertisers relax while viewers feel betrayed. There is no move that makes all three happy, and YouTube needs all three to survive. Every scandal in this story is, underneath, that stool wobbling. So with all of this, the lawsuits, the apocalypses, the scandals, the revolts, you'd assume YouTube limped into the following years wounded. The opposite happened. When TikTok became the fastest app ever to 1 billion users, YouTube built Shorts, and its views reportedly overtook TikTok's. When Twitch threatened, YouTube paid streamers to come over. It quietly became one of the most watched things on television, surpassing the big streaming services. Somehow it was fighting on every front at once, and winning. Today, with over 2.5 billion users, it's roughly the second most visited website on the planet, and what a creator even means has transformed again. It's no longer just a person alone in their bedroom talking to a webcam. The biggest YouTuber in the world now makes videos that cost millions, real-life recreations of entire TV shows, and countless creators have become full production companies with huge teams and budgets, some spinning off into billion-dollar brands. Some people feel nostalgic for the simpler, more personal early days, and that's fair. But the beautiful part is you can still be that person alone with a camera. Both can exist. So think back to where all of this started. 3 bored guys at a coffee shop, a dating site nobody wanted, elephants at the zoo, a founder's credit card quietly hemorrhaging money while every investor in Silicon Valley said it would never work. They were right about one thing. YouTube, as a dating site, was a total failure. What they got wrong is what that failure would become once they stopped forcing their idea onto people and simply handed them a place to be seen, a button to follow each other, and eventually a way to get paid for it. They didn't build a video website. They accidentally tore down every gate between an ordinary person and the entire world, and then paid people to walk through. And the proof is almost too simple. You're standing on the other side of that gate right now, watching this on the thing they built by accident.